Under the moonlight, his blade danced without pause. Each slash left a trail of blood, echoing screams filling the night air. He moved forward without hesitation, eyes cold and empty. For him, the battle wasn't over, not until everything fell silent. He stood among countless corpses, his breath heavy. Laughter echoed through the night, mocking his name and the fallen pride of his clan. "So this is the price of loyalty?" he whispered faintly. The enemy soldiers stared with twisted smiles, ridiculing the honor he once protected. Amid the blood-soaked bodies, his eyes turned red, not from fear, but from the cruel memory that the traitors before him were once brothers of the same clan. His gaze was empty as a woman appeared before him. A cold voice cut through the silent night, heavy with provocation. He stood still, head lowered. The path had already been chosen. Before him stood the last survivor of a fallen clan. Her hands trembled, yet the sword in her grasp did not move. In that silence, he carried the weight of all who had fallen. For him, this was the path he had chosen. The captain's shadow appeared amid the blood-soaked battlefield, his voice echoing with the remnants of old pride. The young man gripped his sword tightly, refusing to become a puppet of the demon that defiled their honor. And in his final moment, he chose death by his own hand, for freedom that no one could ever take away.
You! What are you trying to do?
You may kill me, but you'll never use my corpse. Even as a ghost, I'll hunt you down.
He regretted wasting his life. He never let his talent grow. In the end, he realized it was already too late.
Jin, say something.
The young man named Jin fell silent, his mind blank for a moment. In an instant, he realized he had returned 10 years into the past, to a time before everything was destroyed.
Father?
His father pressed Jin to speak, demanding the truth behind his future brother-in-law's death. But Jin remained silent, trying to grasp a situation that felt both unfamiliar and hauntingly familiar. Jin remembered his future brother-in-law was his only true friend 10 years ago. The man had died the very night Jin woke from his drunken haze. Calmly, Jin said that he remembered nothing. His words only made his father even angrier. Jin's older brothers suggested restraining him and sending him to the Dan clan. His younger brother also suggested sending Jin to the front lines, rather than letting him die in vain. The front lines were the battlefield in Yunnan province, where the Murim alliance fought against the Blood Demon sect, a war famously known as the Great Blood Demon Cult Battlefield. Each clan was required to send one of its direct descendants, the heir of the clan, to that battlefield. And his older brothers took this opportunity to pressure Jin into becoming the clan's candidate. The final decision was to send Jin to the front lines, exactly at the age of 21.
Jin, are you okay?
Manhwa appeared flustered, truly believing that Jin wasn't the culprit. Jin agreed, explaining that he could never kill his own friend. He then added that going to the front lines was the best choice for him. Jin's childhood was miserable. His mother had passed away, and he was forced to survive on his own skills. In truth, he was a genius, but to stay alive, he pretended to be foolish until the act became reality. He grew fat, and the clan has seen him as a disgrace ever since. To change all of that, he had to go to the front lines, to train and fight alongside his idol, the Berserk Tempest Soaring Dragon, Seolpong. After hearing Jin's explanation, Manhwa hurriedly left. Jin found her behavior strange. She usually tried to comfort him.
Nani?
His father suddenly appeared, eyes filled with guilt. He had heard everything they said. Jin found his father's behavior strange. The man who used to be distant and cold now seemed truly concerned. His father was filled with regret, realizing that his son had chosen to leave, and that Jin's foolishness had all been an act. Jin fell silent. He knew all too well that after his mother's death, things had become complicated. His mother's family held great influence over the Seonwoo clan. Even his father had to bow to their power. Both he and his father were trapped in a difficult position, where affection had to be sacrificed for the sake of the clan's honor. His father wanted to atone for all his mistakes. With sincerity, he apologized and promised to help Jin from now on. Without hesitation, Jin asked for permission to enter the Patriarch Library for just one day. He wanted to study the techniques he never had the chance to learn. In his past life as the patriarch, he merely copied others' techniques, never truly understanding his clan's ultimate art, the 13 Ch.1 sword. His father could only sigh, uncertain if Jin could truly learn anything in just one day. Before letting him go, he reminded Jin not to lose himself during training, and said that this time, he would be the one to teach him personally. Understanding his father's intent, Jin immediately sat cross-legged. His father calmly channeled his chi, then began teaching the ultimate primordial unity arts. With a serious gaze, he told Jin to remember every verse he spoke, for once forgotten, it would never be taught again. At the same moment, while deep in focus, Jin was shocked. His father was willing to teach him a technique that only the patriarch and his official heir were ever allowed to know. He was supposed to feel happy, yet uneasiness filled his heart, a feeling he couldn't quite understand. Moments later, in the clan's assembly hall, Jin's older and younger brothers were seen protesting their father's decision. Yet their father reasoned that if Jin were to die too soon, it would only bring shame to the Ch.1 clan, and the decision could no longer be changed.
One day is enough.